Hello, everyone. I haven't done a live video in a while, so I'm checking all my spots and make sure we're good. Um, I have been challenged myself and committed to doing 30 days, Monday through Friday, of Facebook Live videos. As some of you may or may not know, I am actually working on a podcast with a partner. It's something I've wanted to do for a really long time. And so I'm really excited about the possibility of reaching a greater audience with the things that are on my heart and mind, things that I'm learning to share with people. So let me share a little bit with you about what is on my heart and mind today. Now, I don't know about you, but I absolutely love jigsaw puzzles. I am on a total jigsaw puzzle binge right now, like crazy binge. I think I've done 5 puzzles in the last month. And usually I do 1,000-piece puzzles because one time I got one that was 500 pieces and it went too fast, and that was actually frustrating for me. So I've been on this binge, and this is one of the ways, believe it or not, that I celebrate the coming of autumn. I have these autumn puzzles. So when it's 105 and 108 where I live and I feel like I'm literally going to die, I pull out an autumn puzzle and just pretend that autumn is here. And so they have pumpkins and they have these beautiful scenes, and it's kind of like my little way of escaping into a picture. But one of the other things that I love about jigsaw puzzles is that sometimes in life, all the little pieces that are going on around me begin to overwhelm me, or that my mind gets cluttered and I have a difficult time focusing on the things I need to do and the person I need to be to the people in my life. So what I have found is that when I do a jigsaw puzzle, it allows my mind to think clearer. And I did some research to find out what the benefit of jigsaw puzzles was. I was really excited because this is how I've been using them. It helps to exercise both the right side and the left side of your brain, so the holistic thing and the linear. And what it does is it actually expands your ability to be creative. It releases dopamine, it unclutters the mind, and it helps you solve problems better. And the reason that I share that is because I am in a transition right now from working in retail as a makeup artist and an in-store trainer for a company that I loved for over 17 years. And the time came for me to transition. And in that transition, there's a lot of pieces. When you are involved in something for so long, it becomes a part of your identity and it becomes your whole picture, if you will. But when you remove yourself from that picture, that job, that relationship, whatever it is, all of a sudden it feels like pieces are scattered or pieces are missing. And I've been finding that my solace has been in jigsaw puzzles when I can't figure out how to straighten things out. So what it's done is allowed me to problem solve. So when I'm trying to think or I'm feeling blocked and I do a jigsaw puzzle and I'm solving a problem when I do a jigsaw puzzle, you know how everybody starts and they do the outside first? Always do the outside first. Well, sometimes I challenge myself to start in the middle. And when I start in the middle, it's kind of cool. Hi, Michelle. I hope you're safe in Florida. I've been thinking about you, praying for you all. I have a lot of friends in Florida going through the hurricane. I hope everybody's doing okay. I haven't heard from everyone, but I'm going to trust, Michelle, that if you're here, you're doing good. Anyway, so when we do a puzzle, we always think you have to start with the edge pieces, right? Everybody starts with the edge pieces, and then you have to figure things out. Well, I kind of have this system that I do. The edge pieces are a part of it. I pull them out, but I start with words. Ironic, isn't it? If I could talk for a living, I could literally be a millionaire. Words are like my jam. So I start with words, and I also set aside the building pieces. So I kind of have the big chunks, which interestingly enough is the way that I think. I think in big pictures, ideas. I'm kind of a visionary, so I like whole ideas. I love the big part of everything that they do. Details, that's when you get to the end of the puzzle and the whole thing that I've left is the sky, and I'm like, oh my gosh, everything's blue, right? And it drives you nuts, and I want to quit. But I don't allow myself to quit. And the reason why is because I use the puzzle as an analogy for something that I'm personally experiencing right now, something that I personally might be going through in my head or in my life. And I think, there's a point to this, right? I'm doing a puzzle to get to the end of that puzzle, but I'm going through what I'm going through in life because there's a point to it. Because the things that I'm learning, God has given me to share with someone else. So I can't quit. I can't give up. I need to keep that big picture in mind and do all the little things. And so when I do a jigsaw puzzle, it literally helps your mind clear so that you can focus. And it almost, I guess what the research says is it kind of pulls your mind away a little bit, but it leaves space to think and process. And so I'm just wondering, what are those things in your life that's difficult for you to focus on, or that are distracting you, or you feel stuck? What are those things, and what tools, what puzzle pieces do you need to move forward in that thing? For me, I actually use physical puzzles. And I'm an aesthetic person. I'm all about color and pretty things. So I literally choose puzzles if they're pretty. Pretty much that's all that really matters to me. If it's not inspiring, I don't do the puzzle. And when we think about the analogy of a puzzle in life and all the pieces, there's a point in situations in our life, in our relationships, in our jobs, where we kind of lose sight of where we're going. Or we feel like a puzzle piece is missing and we can't quite put our finger on it. And that's when we need to remember that there is a bigger picture. And keeping track of what it is we want to accomplish and where it is we want to go and who it is that we want to be. What is that picture to keep you going, to give you something to aim for? So as I'm doing a puzzle, I decide what I'm going to focus on. And life is the same way. We can't focus on all of the pieces at the same time because we'd never get anywhere. There's a certain amount of benefit to choosing what we're going to give our focus and our attention to. So I like to challenge myself, like I said, by starting on the inside of the puzzle. So sometimes I think the solution to what you're going through and what I'm going through is to think outside of the box. What's that saying, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results is the definition of insanity, right? And how many times have we been insane? It's like the level of thinking that got us here is not the level of thinking that's going to get us to the next place. We have to change the way we think. We have to change our strategies. We have to find a new way to come at the problem. So I just kind of thought that the puzzle was a great analogy for life. And I actually find that when I do a puzzle, it helps clarify sometimes what I need to do next, my next best step. Because, sometimes the puzzle pieces in our life are people that we don't expect to come into our path, people that come into our life and have a new perspective, or maybe they care for you in a way you're not used to being cared for. Right now, I have two women in my life that are, they've been in my life for less than a year, but they have been such powerful motivators and encouragers for me. They're giving me perspective. I think that we all play a role in our relationships, and I've grown up in a role of being the friend, being the shoulder, being the ear, being the person that wants to be there for other people. A little bit of my story is I'm an only child of a single mom, and we moved some 30 plus times by the time I hit third grade. My mom, as a single mom, did everything that she could to provide for us. And sometimes you just got to move because you can't afford it or things happen. I mean, I was a child. I don't even know all the details. But one of the things that all of that moving and all of that change created in me was an understanding of how to be the new kid, the different kid, learning how to identify how to be a friend and how to fit back in and fit back in and fit back in. I was fortunate in third grade all the way through high school to be with the same group of kids, and that was fantastic. But there's a story, and Michelle, my friend here, who said hello, she was a cheerleader with me, and that's one of those interesting things. When I became a cheerleader in high school, I was well aware that cheerleaders had a horrible reputation of being like not nice people. Like people assumed if you're a cheerleader, then you're not a nice person. And I always chafed against that because I back to this puzzle analogy, there's a bigger picture. every puzzle piece and every person is not the same. The shape is different. We all fit in a little differently, and we're meant to be a little bit different. So when I was a cheerleader, my whole goal, I kid you not, I decided that I was going to be different than other cheerleaders in terms of movies. I actually knew a whole lot of nice cheerleaders, but the outside perspective was that cheerleaders weren't nice. So when you put on a uniform, people assumed things about you, or they judged things about you, and then they would approach you differently. And so one of the things that I wanted to do is I never wanted someone to feel the loneliness that I felt. I never wanted them to feel unheard or left out. And this whole idea of popular and cool and uncool just kind of irritated me because, I mean, who really knows what that even means? I mean, I don't know. I might have been popular. I might not have been popular. I don't actually know. And it doesn't even really matter, especially now. Geez, it's been a while since I've been in high school. But the point is that I try to be a puzzle piece in a bigger picture, in a greater way, to hopefully touch a life. Because when you're given a position, be it a job position, a leadership position, a role where people see you differently, you know, we have a choice. What's the bigger picture in this puzzle of life? How can we use our puzzle piece to make that picture more complete for someone else, for the world around us? How can we be that influence? How can we be that agent of change? And I think that it's every single person is a precious and special and unique piece of the puzzle. You know how sometimes there's puzzle pieces that almost fit? They're almost the same. You get the feeling that it belongs, but there's something in you that's just like, this isn't quite right, you know? Everybody, we might compare ourselves to that, our puzzle piece to their puzzle piece, but I got news for you. When your puzzle piece fits into the puzzle properly, that's where the mojo is. That's where the joy is. That's where the picture, that big vision is greater. Because, friends, I am a firm believer that there are no accidents. Nobody's life is an accident. I was personally not a planned child, and my mom had the courage to keep me. And so when I come from that perspective, that greater picture that everybody's life has a purpose, then it's our goal to figure out how our puzzle piece makes sense in the greater picture of life. And part of what I'm doing in my transition from working in retail sales and being a professional makeup artist and shifting over into something I've done kind of just naturally, which is coaching and mentoring and people and training people in different, in work, it was training people in certifications and product knowledge and all that sort of thing. But in my life, I've tried to always help people identify what it is you want to do and how to help them get there. So now what I'm doing is I'm a certified executive director with the John Maxwell team, and I do coaching and I do mentoring and I do training and all of that sort of thing. So with all of that extra training, I'm really, really passionate about the fact that we all have something to offer. And if there's any way that I can be a part of your journey and help you get from point A to point B, I would love to do that. Because you see, your puzzle piece matters. The picture will be incomplete unless you put your piece in the game. So I want to challenge you to really think about who you are, what you have to offer, and it doesn't have to be, you know, out in the big world, if you will, on the internet, but in your world, in your sphere of influence. How can your puzzle piece be a part of that greater picture in completing it for someone else and stepping in and being that gap filler, you know, that we all need? Because really, clarity comes sometimes from somebody else's puzzle piece. You know, it's like when you're working on the puzzle piece and you're missing that one edge piece. Just drives me bananas. I swear I've been through that puzzle box 3 times, and why can't I find that edge piece? But when I find that edge piece, it's like, that's what I was looking for. And I think that's what we are for each other. We are that puzzle piece for someone. I don't know who that someone is, you know? And sometimes, I'm going to be completely honest, we may not know whether we've had an impact or an effect on other people. But see, it's not about that. It's about that greater picture. It's about that greater responsibility to be more and do more and put our piece in the puzzle so that the picture is greater. And so anyway, I just really had this whole idea of puzzles on my brain because literally I'm on my sixth puzzle. And of course it has pumpkins on it because why wouldn't it? Because I'm pretending it's autumn. Technically Friday of next week is the first day of autumn, but I'm in denial and I'm going to have autumn now. I've had my pumpkin shirt made. I've had my pumpkin spice latte. I've had my pumpkin bread. I've had my pumpkin scone. I have pumpkined my way. My husband bought me a pumpkin for my porch. Even though it was 110, I had a pumpkin on my porch because doggone it, it's going to be pumpkin season at my house. But anyway, that was a digression. But I wanted to share my heart with you guys, and it is my goal to do this every day. My accountability partner is holding my feet to the fire because I have so many things on my heart that I want to share. And I have just gone to Success Live this last weekend, and one of the things they said was, you know, if God gives you something to say or do, then it's your responsibility to do or say it. It doesn't matter if you know what the outcome is going to be. So I was challenged to quit procrastinating on something I love to do, but just always feeling a little bit less than adequate. But does it matter? You know, my puzzle piece needs to be in the puzzle, just like your puzzle piece needs to be in the puzzle. So, hi, Shannon. Thank you, Michelle. You want to make me cry, though, and I can't do that right now. I can't cry right now. So anyway, I just wanted to thank you guys for joining me today and for listening to what I have to say. And I hope that you are going to get into the puzzle with your piece and make that picture clearer and more beautiful for the sphere of influence that you're in. And I look forward to sharing with you guys at some point tomorrow what it is that God has given to me to share with you. I love you all and have a wonderful day.